Hey everybody, it's Derek Christensen from Legion Law. Hope you're having a great day. Today I wanted to talk to you about whether or not wills protect you from going through probate. But first, before I dive into that, I wanted to let you know how to reach out to me. You can email me directly at my email, Derek, D-E-R-E-K, at legionlawpllc.com, or you can find me on my website, www.legionlawpllc.com. So with that, let's dive right in. It's a topic that many people assume generously, but are incorrect on. And it is unfortunate because a lot of people assume I signed a will and therefore I'm going to avoid probate. It is not the case. No is the answer to the question in the title of this video. A will does not protect you from probate, and in fact, you need to go through probate to validate the will. Probate is the legal process by which you must go before a judge, and the judge validates your will, what it says, was it executed correctly, and who gets what under the will. The whole point of probate is to protect those who are entitled to assets under the will, and probate is meant to validate and take a long time to make sure all of the steps outlined in the will are done correctly according to the wishes of the deceased. So that's a bummer because you will have to go through probate if you have a will most of the time. I say that because there are ways to actually avoid probate and still have a will, but the only way to accomplish that is to retitle assets, change beneficiary designations, file deeds that essentially make it so that everything in the will automatically happens and there's no need to go through probate. But at the end of the day, a will, if it must happen, if you must go through probate and get that will validated, then that will happen, unfortunately, for those who have a will. So another way to avoid probate is to also create a trust and transfer your assets inside the trust and then completely avoid the need for the will in the first place. So if you haven't seen already, a lot of the strategies are such that you create scenarios where the will is not needed. Again, so I'll use an example to make things a little clearer. So my wife and I were married and we have a kid and we want to give everything to the kid after both of us have passed away. But if one of the spouses is alive, then the other spouse gets all our assets. So in that scenario, there are a couple ways to approach that. One, I could write a will and say my wife gets everything, and if my wife predeceases me, my kid gets everything. Two, I could draft a deed to my house that creates a rights of survivorship with a co-tenant or a joint tenancy that would automatically pass my house to my wife, and then all my bank accounts I can create beneficiary designations and make it a payable on death account to make it so that when I pass away, my account will automatically go to my wife. And then everything else I have, IRAs, my car, stuff like that, I would have to do the same thing where I go to the institution or government entity and verify that I want my wife to get everything after I pass away. And if not, my wife, because she predeceased me, then my child. So I would have to retitle everything, change all the beneficiary designations, do all the paperwork, and then at the end of the day, I don't have a will, but everything is done correctly in so much that it automatically transfers over to my wife. Or the third way would be create a revocable living trust and transfer everything inside of the trust and then put my wife in charge of it so that when I pass away, she just automatically gets everything in the trust and she's good to go. So yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt. Some people like the will because it's simple. You just sign it, you're done, and then you go through probate later on and you won't be around to go through that probate. So it's technically a problem for other people. But there are ways to avoid the probate, but you can never avoid probate if you have a will and you don't do all the things I just said. So a will not help you avoid probate. You can only hope to avoid the will in the first place to avoid probate later on. It's kind of complicated and it's not fun to deal with, and if you do it wrong, you're going to go through probate. So again, if you drop any of the balls anywhere, you're going to go through probate, which is not something you want to deal with. So I help people avoid probate all the time. I help people with estate planning. If you just want a simple will and that's it, or if you want to take on a bunch of headaches and avoid probate later on, all the better. So if you have any questions or if you want any counsel on these issues, be more than happy to help. Again, you can email me, Derek, D-E-R-E-K, at legionlawpllc.com, or you can find me at my website, www.legionlawpllc.com. So thank you so much and have a great day.